I started a Skool community on August the 1st this year, and we're now later on in August, so I've been going less than a month. But one thing I kept hearing from people, both in the Skoolers community, where they give advice on how to grow your community, but also externally in a kind of summer challenge I was taking part in, was that consistency is the most important thing. That's being consistent with getting people visibility to get people into your community, and consistency with engagement within the community. So I decided I wanted to, of course, use Notion to build myself a tracker to make sure that I was sticking to being consistent with my growth and engagement activities every day. And I kind of added onto it as I went. So I'm going to jump into Notion and show you how my tracker works and how I use it to make sure I keep growing my community, and how I can view how that's impacting my actual community growth as well, all within Notion. And I'll leave a link in the description so you can get access to the template. So if you're not familiar with Notion, the main useful part of Notion, in my opinion, is the databases and the different database views that you can use. So you have a database, let's say the simplest way to think of it is in table form, which is what we've got here. But then you can view that data in other ways. So in this particular tracker, I've got a calendar view and a chart view, and we'll move through those in a second. So firstly, I'll show you what I've put in to the table view, which is where I started when I built out this tracker, and take it from there. So I've got a field for just the day that I'm tracking. So I started tracking this on day one that I opened my community, so that's quite useful. It also happened to be on the 1st of August, which was extra useful, but obviously you would just put in the day as whichever day. You can start with day one, even if your community's been open a while, because this is the day you've been tracking from. Then you would input your date. Then we've got a text field where I can just type in things that I've done that day to grow my community. And then I've got another text field for things I've done that day to engage my community. Then I have a number field to capture how many members I've got. So I just look towards the end of the day. And I update that. I've got the Notion app on my phone, so it's really easy to just nip in at the end of the day. I might remember when I go to bed and just put in the number of members I've got by the end of the day. So this is total members, it's not number of members I've got that day. It's the total number of members in my community that I'm tracking. And then money made, I've added this in for when I make my community paid, but it's currently free. So then I added in the calendar view after I'd built out the table database, because I was having to scroll quite a long way to find the current date. So now I can find it because there's this handy little red dot on the current date in Notion, and I can fill in my information quicker. But also I have set this, let me just show you where, in this little settings tab at the top of my database here. When I click that, I can click on property visibility, and so I've set my two text fields, things to grow, done to grow community, and things done to engage community, to visible, along with number of members. Because my community is not paid just now, I've got my money made field hidden, but I can make that visible when I make my community paid. And that just means I can see at a glance in my calendar that I have done the actions each day to grow my community and to engage it. As you can see, I've forgotten to fill out yesterday, so I'm going to need to go back in there and fill that out. So that's why I created the calendar view, just to make it a bit easier as I get well through into like month 2 and 3. I can find my dates easier, and I can see at a glance that I am sticking to my plan of doing something every day to grow my group and engage it. Then we have chart view. So chart view, you get one chart in the free Notion plan. You get unlimited charts in their next plan up, which is I think called Plus Plan. So this is just me viewing by day and by number of members. So I've also added to my tracker template, just if I go back here, membership source. So this is a separate database where I'm just inputting the month and year in here. So these are all the same. Then I've got my traffic source selected. The date range is August 1st to August 31st because I want to be able to view this by month. And then the number of members who've come from that traffic source. And I am gathering that information using the plugin, which says membership questions. And I'm asking the question, where did you hear about this group? And then they give me their answer. So I can then, just when I accept them, I have the Notion app on my phone. So I just go across to that and I update my membership source database. So I just change out the number here. So if this was on 8, I would just change it to 9. So I'm just doing like a running total for that month, and then I can start again next month. I can put September 2025 and I can start these again, and I can add anything new in that I might start to take part. Let's say collaborations. I can add that in, and that can be an option, and I would just select the next end date to select my date range, and then I can keep going in September. And this just means I can tell exactly where my traffic's coming from, so I can double down on what's working. And I'm actually getting a lot of traffic from Skool Search at the moment, which is good. So again, I've got a chart view of this. At the moment it's filtered by date range in August, and I can always change this. If I change this to September, it should just be one entry. Did I put my entry in? No, I didn't put any numbers in, so let's say 3 in there. That should work now. And we have collaborations is the only thing showing, so that's all I've input for September. So you can break down that data. If I wanted to see everything, I could go from August the 1st to September the 30th. And that includes my collaborations then. So I can set what data I want to view using the filters and see exactly where my traffic's coming from. And then board view, this is if you have the free version of Notion, you can use this instead, and it works in a similar way. You can just see the running total at the top here, email list, school, Facebook group. These don't show up in numerical order, they'll just show up in whichever order you have them set in. So you can just click and drag them manually if you want to reorder them so that they're in numerical order, so that you have your top performing traffic sources at the front. And again, you can filter this by date range, so we can clear this one, end it in September, and collaborations should appear now. Let's see, yeah, collaborations is here now. So that's just so that you can view things easily if you have the free version of Notion. Yeah, so I hope you found that really useful. I'll leave a link to the template in the description, and you can just grab that and start tracking Skool for yourself.